Okay. Hello, guys, and waiting to see if the kiddo is going to join us here. Um, and waiting for things to pop up. You know what? I think I'm going to try and do something to see if I can fix not being able to see OBS, because it really seems to make a difference. Okay. Portal's windowed. Ah, there we go. That seems to be the trick on getting everything to kind of function properly. Okay, so let's see what our resolution is here. While we wait for anybody to come in, and while we wait for the kiddo to join us, I might have to give her a call. Let's see here. Okay, and I am gonna have to switch the audio back. Let's see the sound. I want the sound to go through these. Back here. There we go. Okay. And something I can do to prevent that from happening in the future. If I just turn off Bluetooth while I am streaming, that should take care of it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so while we wait just a couple more minutes, let's see, VSync, 60 DLSS, quality, ultra on. Ah, do we want the black and white filter? So I think we are going to start on the black and white filters, so do not adjust your screens and nothing is wrong. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and click on start a new game. So as far as I know, I think, well, this gives you a special camouflage, and it determines, I think, the mask that you're wearing. DPM, Ozcan Desert, Desert Tiger. Ooh, Flectron I think is a good. You know what? I'm still going to go with that because this is my favorite. All right, so we'll go with the new style. And we will go with just a normal difficulty for right now. Okay, I think we're good to go. All right, and
After the
while
end of
this
World War II,
plays,
the world was
I'm
split
gonna try
into
getting the
two,
kiddo a call again.
East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
And I mean, just look at this. Tell me that this doesn't look like this game was like made to be played in black and white like this, especially given like the time period, the espionage aspects, and I don't know if they did any adjustments with other things for these filters, but this doesn't look like it's just removing the color, like, or maybe the coloring in this game is just so good, but like this really looks like it brings out the contrast and looks like an old black and white movie. There's our snake.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
So there we go.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear
Just
hatch.
look at how, like, freaking amazing this looks in black and white. And like, don't get me wrong, like the first time I played this remake, I played it in color, and the color just looks fantastic. Most of the filters, they did a really good job. Like, normally I don't think that filter packs are anything to get that excited about, except maybe like in this game. It actually is like a nice little feature to have.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
There are some occasions in gameplay where you do want to have the colors so you can see things a little bit better in the environment,
10 seconds to drop
because
off.
being able to see what's around you is important. But I think for
Status okay.
for the
All
cutscene, it really serves this game well to play it in black and white.
2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
And as far as like just straight up remakes go, I think this might be one of, if not the greatest remake of all time. And like they really went out of their way. Like this is not a reimagining. It's not a like real modernization, even though it does
Jack,
say...
I've got some important news.
Oh.
The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission.
Virtual
The future
mission?
of our Fox unit depends on
Metal
it.
Gear?
If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov.
Like, especially when this game
He's head of the OK
dropped in
B754 Design Bureau,
2025,
one of
it
the Soviets'
just it
top
feels
secret
so
weapon research
like
facilities.
relevant.
And the East's foremost
with,
expert on weapons
not
development.
just with tensions between Russia, but like just
Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same.
international tensions rising.
On April the 12th,
in
1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
a certain way. I think makes
The
this
Earth
game
was blue,
feel
but there was
like
no God.
Well spoken.
almost more
The rocket
relevant
that carried
than
Yuri Gagarin to orbit
when it
was
first
the A-1,
released.
known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story, so why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The
I
Cuban
love how
Missile
long
Crisis.
these cutscenes
October the 16th,
drag out.
1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The president demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the
Okay, I want
world.
to look
So
up
what did the
this is
Russians really
playing.
want?
What
Sokolov.
year exactly
They
this
wanted
game
us
was
to
supposed to
return
take place?
Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time.
Okay, so this game takes place in
Either give up Sokolov
1964,
or
so
risk
this
full-scale
was
nuclear war.
before,
In the end, we
or
had
the game
no
takes
choice.
place before, not
President
made
Kennedy
before,
gave
certainly
in to
not,
Khrushchev's demand.
before
The next day, I
it
got
was
Sokolov out of the
widely
hospital, handed him over
known
to agents on the eastern
that
side. Sokolov kept
we
on
had
screaming, "Save me!"
made
until he
that
disappeared
trade to
from my
remove the Jupiter missiles out of Turkey in exchange for Russia pulling out of Cuba.
Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
Metal Gear?
No, according to our intelligence, he's in Selinoyarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's
I
our
like
best
that
chance
this
to get him
version
back.
of Snake,
This mission would
well, I
never
guess
have
this
been
is
possible
Big
if he was
Boss,
still in the research
is
facility.
like,
This is
this
our last
sounds like a
chance.
hound dog,
Sokolov
but he
must
is
have known that
completely
too when he contacted
clueless.
us.
And considering that we've been in all cutscene all the time
Listen up,
in
Jack.
this game,
Your mission is to infiltrate Selinoyarsk in the Soviet mountains.
I
ensure
really
the
can't
safety of
speak
Sokolov
too
and
much
bring
to
it
how
back to the
the
West.
performance is, but, you know, if those are real-time limited cutscenes, not bad.
If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking.
So the first time that I played this was on the PlayStation Pro, and it was, I think, right around release. I did not live stream.
Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon.
Ah, yes, when they thought this was going to be an easy in-out
I'm
mission.
familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat Talon?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong, you'll be eating dinner, breakfast, and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
So this whole first part of the game is sort of like your tutorial introduction. I don't even think you get the credits until like after the end of this mission. So this is a long, little tutorial area. And so even though Kojima didn't have anything to do with this remake, like I said, this is like not at all reimagining. This is a straight up one-to-one remake. Like they went out of their way to get all of the camera angles exactly the same. All of the levels are like a one-to-one recreation. And yes, the control scheme is modernized, especially from what the game originally shipped with, but it plays almost identically to the version of the game that was released or shipped shortly after its release. Oh, this is really smooth. Okay. I'm just kind of trying to get the hang of the controls here, and I think I am going to show you guys some of the other okay, so let's go with none on the filter. And so this is what the game looks like without any kind of filter. Okay, so let's see. I think there might be something over here, if I am not mistaken. And I know that this game had a lot of issues at launch with performance. I don't know how well the performance is going to hold up. I probably shouldn't have pushed the resolution quite as high as what I did. But, like, very... very impressive.
You're already in enemy territory.
Performance so far, considering that this is, through crossover, not a native Mac game.
Your codename for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
Oh, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
Well, you've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom.
Ground
Oh, and
control to
Yeah.
Major
The
Tom.
crew isn't watching anymore. You can take off the disguise now.
Good idea. This isn't right. Time for the snake to shed his skin.
And off comes the ride mask, and there is the snake we know and love. Wah, wah, wah. So, like I was saying, for all of the issues though that people have, that I have, with UE5 games kind of having this tendency to, you know, look samey, to not do fine detail in the universe very well, I think this game particularly excels at it, and
Can
you'll
you
see what I'm
hear me,
talking about as
Major
it
Tom?
goes on.
This is
Um,
Snake. Kept you waiting, huh?
There are very
This will
little
be a sneaking mission.
telltales
You must
that
not be seen by the
this
enemy. You
is
must leave no trace of your
the
presence.
UE5 engine
Is that
and
clear?
not like
This
a
kind of infiltration
custom
is the Fox
boutique
unit's
engine.
speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No, there's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
With your
Be issued a
hands.
knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
And of course, so one thing I think I am going to change real quick. I just want to see how this kind of affects it. All right, let's go to balanced and see how this works. So I really am not seeing a whole lot of visual degradation. But oh look, it's right there. Okay, so that goes into first person. That does that. Okay, so I gotta get my stuff. There we go.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer, choose Weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a list on the screen. From that list, choose the weapon you want to equip and press the Enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from Item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right. Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly.
And Snake's
Keep an eye
tummy
on
will
your stamina
grumble.
so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun?
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire. Once its durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger happy with it. The suppressor's durability is shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily wastes. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake.
Oh, he actually called it a stealth mission, not a sneaking mission.
Captured. The military and US government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take care of myself, huh?
I'm afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SIS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
So there are a
Fooling
couple
them into
of
thinking that I'm really dead. So how do I come back to life?
Just
there
take the
there
revival
are
pill.
a couple of
You mean
moments
that
in the
thing you put in
game
my tooth before the mission?
that
That's the
if
one.
you use a
Be careful.
cyanide pill
If you remain in a state
at
of
certain
false death
moments,
for
you
too
get like
long, nothing will be able
a
to
special
bring you back.
sequence.
Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She.
Hello, Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was the boss that got the DCI's authorization in the first place. She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
The boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me. Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
It's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18 hours.
You've lost weight.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Why'd you disappear on me all of a sudden?
I was on a top-secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
I wonder what
But
that
there were
top
still
secret
so
mission
many
could be.
things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, Technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
Is that why you abandoned me?
No, it had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top-secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
What is it?
Call me Snake.
Snake. Oh, right. Your codename is Snake. It suits you well.
That's right. The legendary unit that the boss put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine.
Ah,
isn't that right, Snake?
the Cobra unit. I wonder if we're going to be
I can't think of
encountering
anyone
them.
else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes?
It's good to hear your voice again.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive? Snake, you are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Okay, so this game is famous for having like just a ton of systems that you constantly have to manage. So chief among them is this camouflage system. So it's a stealth mission. You don't always have like shadows that you can stealth around in. So if you can see there down at the bottom of the screen, you have that little percentage meter that tells you how stealthy you are. And here's how faithful to the original game and the original game design that... Come on, snake. Other snake. Real snake. Oh, dang it. Didn't mean to waste a bullet or a suppressor on that. Okay, so I think... let's see, I forget, how do I... Oops. Okay, I just want my knife. Okay, how do I equip? How do I change through my weapons again? I'm trying to remember that. The controls. I know there's got to be a way for me to cycle through my weapons here. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Okay, so we'll worry about getting food later, though. But yeah, here's how, like, faithful they were. Like, obviously you can create, you know, a contiguous world now. But back in the day on the PS2 when this game released, you know, having as detailed of environments as what they did, they really had to divvy up the world into these sections. So you load into a little section of the map, and I really wish I knew how to change my weapon. Okay, all right. Let's go back into the backpack and let's put that away. Man, I really don't remember. I know I can, like, knife the mushrooms. There we go. Okay, I've got to hold it down. Okay. So now that gives me some food that I can eat when my tummy starts to rumble. And this is the first part of the game. We kind of have to do some sneaking around stuff. And I honestly think, as far as like gameplay goes, this has to be like the top of the series. There we go. Everyone says that Metal Gear Solid 5 is. I think that in Metal Gear Solid 5 is a great game. There's a lot of, you know, like options and fun stuff that you can do in the world. But like the gameplay in this is so varied, and this is one of those like single player games that for me I can, you know, like play over and over again. Not because, you know, you get like multiple endings or multiple paths, but there's just so many different systems that you can play with. You can give yourself so many different like you know, imposed challenges, and its systems are so much fun to play with. And it's also short enough that, like, you know, you can...
Major, I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s and grenades.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting Camouflage from the Survival Viewer. The Uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the Face option lets you change your face paint. Choosing camouflage that blends in with your surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively. Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the Camo Index. The Camo Index shows how well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
Okay, so they did mercifully add a quick camouflage select guide. Oops. That lets you sort of like change camouflage on the fly easier. Okay, so let's see. Something too that I like about these smaller claustrophobic levels is you don't, you know, have ways of like permanently tracking enemies or marking enemies. You don't see the enemies on your mini-map. You know, you really have to like actually use your eyes and your senses to see where enemies are. And I think that that's something that has kind of like broken modern stealth games is... Oh. I see some goodies. Is, you know, like this ability to...
I think I saw something.
Oh, shit.
I think I
Oh, shit.
Who's that?
Aww. Alright, I'm gonna try this again.
This is HQ.
Patrol here. Enemy sighted. Requesting backup.
Because I was talking and not paying attention to what I was doing. Snake! Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna let this guy go past. But I think the reason why modern games sort of have to like give you all of those affordances with having enemies marked on the map and letting you like see the enemies through walls and all of that jazz is because the camera is so far panned out, and the world is so big that like it would feel cheap if you didn't have a reasonable way to keep an eye on you know, where the enemies were at any given time. So, oops, hang on just 1 second. Okay, kiddo. Alrighty. So now back to it. Okay, now this time I'm going to try a little bit harder to not get... Ooh, doop, boop, 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 boop. And hopefully no one sneaks up on my behind. Okay, now I think I have a more clear path to kind of... I like how Snake can just like change his clothes completely in like the middle of everybody, and nobody like notices anything. Alright, so this guy is right in the path where I need to. I think I'm gonna get in the tall grass and wait for this guy though. And then I'm just gonna wait for this guy to go past. And then I'm going to make a break for it. And yes, the original game did this thing where it would go into that weird, like, ultra zoomed in first person mode anytime that you were sneaking in the grass. Oh, he's got an idea. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay, so now here I am going to pull out my gun. And, let's think that's... And this is what I mean when I say, like, there are so many little systems that you can, like, play with. Oh, yep, okay, good. And he's gonna... The bees... Oh, okay, there we go. Probably would have been better off just running across the bridge, considering that they have all run off due to the bees. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Oh. Careful, Snake. Come on. Okay. And let me get some more food. Because not only does your stamina drain and, you know, causes your health to regenerate faster, if it gets slow enough, your health will start to drain, but Snake's tummy will grumble. And its grumbling will be a sound that will alert guards to his location.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held. This place is a dump. I can't see Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to any kind of danger. Do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
Right.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood. Beginning my approach to the target.
Okay, so this is the first of a couple of times you're going to have to sneak in to this section. This time is the easy one. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to go into my backpack. Oops. And I've got a couple of these. So anything that you can throw, or anything like your food, can be used as like a throwable. And anything that you can throw can be used to distract enemies. Later on, food is going to get a whole lot more useful.
Huh? What's that sound?
Because not only will it create a noise to distract them, but if you destroy their food supplies, which the game doesn't like really spell out that this is even a thing that you can do. But if you destroy their food supplies, then they will start to get hungry and they will become like extra distracted by buy food. They'll be like, oh, I'm so hungry. And then you throw out some food. They'll be like, oh, and they'll like stand there with their backs turned to you and like, nom, 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 nom. There are a variety of snakes in this game. So not every snake that you come across is the same. And if you catch a poisonous snake and you throw it at an enemy, then it will poison the enemy. Okay, so I think I'm going to eat some food. I keep going into the wrong one. Let's try that hornet's nest.
I want some more.
Apparently hornet's nest tastes delicious. All right. I can hear the guy like walking right over me. Okay, I don't know if this guy is still stationed over here.
Huh?
Oh shit.
What was that?
Oh shit. I think I'm wearing the best camouflage that I have.
Who's that?
Ah.
HQ.
This is HQ.
Patrol here. Enemy sighted. Requesting backup.
Acknowledged. Sending reinforcements.
So I don't know if you... Oh, okay, yes, you can knock someone out just by rolling of them. And if you're asking why I'm not using the trank gun, there is like a whole like, well, I'm gonna use it right there. But yeah, there's like a whole challenge to play this game without ever using the trank gun. Well, I think that huh?
He's over there.
And I remember there was there's a way to like push the barrel. Oop.
HQ.
This is HQ.
Oh, dude.
Patrol here.
Okay.
We've lost sight of the intruder. Going into high alert.
Acknowledged. The enemy is still nearby. Pursue and engage him.
Everybody is sleeping. Oh, there's the ladder. See, if I would have just saw the ladder, I wouldn't have had to have left all that carnage in my wake. And here is Sokolov.
You must be Sokolov.
Are you one of Volkin's men? You'll never get it from me.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You're CIA?
Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
Zero?
I have a message from him.
What is it?
He said to tell you sorry for being so late.
Did he now?
What does it mean?
It means he's a man of his word. But we've got no time for this. You have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Who's they?
Colonel Volgin of Gru. You in the West know him as Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt? Never heard of him.
He's a member of the Army's extremist faction, a man who seeks to seize control of the motherland. Ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis 2 years ago, Khrushchev has been pursuing a policy of peaceful coexistence with the West. Despite resistance and criticism from hawks in the army and the provincial authorities, Khrushchev has managed to suppress the opposition so far. But the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position. And on top of that, the tragedy last November.
President Kennedy's assassination.
Precisely. In a sense, Khrushchev has lost his biggest partner, and his power base is rapidly crumbling away. A certain group is plotting to use this opportunity to seize power by rallying the anti-government forces, overthrowing Khrushchev, and installing Brezhnev and Kosygin in his place. The mastermind behind this plot is Colonel Volgin of the GRU. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power.
And Volgin is one of like the most sadistic characters, not just in this game, but like
the intelligence says
up there in
that
gaming
going to
history.
Make their move during the test.
Then the soldiers outside.
Exactly. They wouldn't need that many men just to keep me inside. Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me. Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come. I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then.
Leave it to me.
Leave it to Beaver.
By the way, your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?
From my mentor.
Oh, so I just noticed that. So that
America's
kind of explains.
Truly a frightening country.
Oh, I guess I'll have a lot after this
Having
cutscene.
second thoughts.
No. I have no love for this place. Let's go.
Major, this is Snake. Sokolov.
Okay, so just a couple of things. That line there, the "oh, you're Russian is supreme," that is kind of like their lampshading or explanation as to why you're in Soviet Russia and people aren't speaking with like the obviously like fake Russian accents. Is, you know, they lampshade it once. He is everything in this game just assume that is being spoken in Russian, except for when you're talking to your colleagues. Two, with that last cutscene, if you know your Soviet history, you do know that Brezhnev does end up becoming the premier of the Soviet Union after Khrushchev. I can't remember if he is the very next or if he's like a couple of after Khrushchev. But Khrushchev, even though he was kind of historically been portrayed as like this big boogeyman or this big villain to the United States, like Khrushchev was one, kind of one of the voices of reason in the Soviet Union during that period of the Cold War and during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And two, he was really seen as like a soft leader, especially compared to Stalin. Like he started to kind of reverse a lot of the worst elements that Stalin had implemented during his regime. And, certainly like, didn't make the Soviet Union and the US allies, but there was, a much more open line of communication under Khrushchev. And for the Soviet people, like Khrushchev thought that the gulags were, like barbaric. So that was one of the things that he sort of wound down during his regime as the premier, or during his tenure, is he really didn't have like a long enough rule to really even call it a regime. And the hardliners thought that he should be more Stalin-esque. So Khrushchev was pushed out of power, and when Khrushchev died, he was denied being buried in like the, equivalent, the Soviet equivalent of Arlington Cemetery, and he was basically buried in a pauper's grave. There was no, celebration of life when Khrushchev died. They kind of like swept it under the rug. So, like Khrushchev wasn't like the big bad, and I think that's one of the points that this game is trying to make. That things as they are portrayed, in the media and through your own government, it's always more complicated, or can be more complicated. And I think that's one of the great things about Kojima's writing, but about this game in particular. And as much as I like, the cyberpunk postmodern vibe of Metal Gear Solid 2, like this game has like, kind of grown and is, I would almost say that this one now, especially at this point in life, is my favorite in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Like, still all the love in the world for 2, but and I think with this remake being such a faithful one-to-one, like they still use all of the same audio. I think they had some of the original cast come back and record like a few pickup lines here and there, but for the most part, it's, the same audio that was recorded. All of the cinematic camera angles were one-to-one recreation from what was in the original PlayStation 2 game. And that, I think, is a testament to Hideo Kojima's directing. Like, he's made it very clear that like he loves movies, wanted to be a film director, and you can really see that. Even going back to, the first Metal Gear Solid, and even the original Metal Gear games that were on the MSX, or the, like slightly more advanced version of the Nintendo that only released in Japan. But this game, I think, has some of the, and all of Hideo Kojima's games have some of the best, like, staged and constructed and shot cinematics of any video game. And the story in this, like, it absolutely is campy, but it hits, this game hits on all of the right levels. It's, campy, it's fun, it's funny, it's like a B action movie, but also the emotional beats hit. It, by the time you get to like the full breadth of the tragedy of this game, like, it really nails the low emotional beats. And this is what I was talking about in that like little portion of Assassin's Creed Shadow that we played. With having main characters and stories that are just completely joyless. You don't need to go this far into the camp to make people like and relate to the characters. But you know, there certainly is a middle ground. Like, this game would not be, you know, remembered as fondly as what it is if they stripped out all of the camp and they made it like completely serious. I think that's, you know, like the mistake, and that's why like Call of Duty campaigns, even though, you know, like they touch on, you know, a lot of the same themes, aren't half as memorable as this game. Like, you really remember all of the characters, even the characters that you just talked to in these codec conversations, that, you know, you never even really see in like a fully animated cutscene, or very little of. Like, they still have so much character and personality. And I think that's why it was such a brilliant twist in Metal Gear Solid 4 to have everyone on this team do a complete hill turn, and everyone from Major Zero, Solid Snake, obviously, you know, is going to become Big Boss, because that's, you know, the whole premise of this game. This is Big Boss before he was the big villain in the original Metal Gear games, right? But, you know, having this whole squadron of like goofy, likable characters all become like these like giant like world government ending villains, I think upset a lot of people. But, you know, it also kind of makes sense. Like, this is a origin story of villains. All of these people will, you know, become villains. You know, you don't see them like necessarily become villainous in this game, but the events of this game is what sets everyone on that path to villainy. And then some of the latter games, I think, do a really good job of sort of explaining what that means in the context that's set up from this game. Of, you know, looking at times changing, people misinterpreting the signs of the times and all of that.
Is safe with me. He's doing fine. No injuries.
Good work, Snake. Now hurry up and get Sokolov to the recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
What about the sentries?
I managed to get past them.
I see.
What about the boss?
We lost contact with the
I
boss
put them all to
sometime.
sleep.
What happened?
It's probably just a weak signal. Just hurry and get Sokolov out of there.
I'm sure, just a weak signal. I like the wizard thing that he was doing with his hands there.
Freeze!
Womp womp.
So this is the legendary boss. Huh?
Shalashaska.
Huh? We meet at last.
You're from the Ocelot unit of Spetsnaz.
Huh?
What's a crew soldier doing here?
And yes, if you have played the prior games, that is a person who becomes, well, you'll see.
Soldier?
You're pretty good.
He's the Ocelot commander.
That's Major Ocelot to you. Don't you forget it.
Meow.
Sokolov is ours. Now get out of here.
And Ocelot never lets his prey escape.
What?
I can't say it feels good to kill a comrade, even if it is for the Gru.
Sokolov, take cover.
Huh. Huh. You're not the boss, are you?
Like, I miss when media was able to have that fine line of, like, telling serious, like, emotionally gut-punching stories of espionage and betrayal and still be goofy in, like, a way that was, like, entirely, like, their own. You know, everything is kind of, I think, humor-wise, and I think this is why people like... And games and movies kind of go that, you know, that po-faced, everything is serious route, is I think humor has kind of been viewed as being like reduced to like a cheesy Whedon-esque dialogue. And, you know, I think there's a time and a place for it. I think it worked really well for, you know, Buffy and Angel. And it worked well with like the cast of the Avengers for that first Avengers movie. But then when, you know, like every other writer started to adopt that same style and everything just got so homogenized, and, you know, it was, you know, just that like no surprise witty banter, you know, where this, like, you know, you have like an entirely serious scene and an entirely serious villain that fucking meows.
Crew operatives! What is that stance? Huh. That gun. If you're not the boss...
And I will say, if you're trying to play like a perfect stealth run or European Extreme, which European Extreme is not even a self-imposed challenge, like it is an actual game mode that you can play, and you have to play the entire game that way. You like have to restart back to the nearest save point, not the whole game, if you were just spotted.
Then die.
Major! Leave it! Shoot the other one!
But like I was saying, the Ocelot unit is the biggest, probably one of the hardest stealth challenges in the game, and it comes up when you have to return to this area. Like basically, as soon as this mission is over, that's your next thing that you do is you have to return to this area, but at night. And they are like the hardest group of bad guys. It's almost like a little boss fight in and of itself. My boy was fighting that Trank hard. Oh, and the rumble works well with this game too. That's always kind of a hit and miss on if control rumble is going to work when you're playing a Mac port or a crossover Mac thing.
You ejected the first bullet by hand, didn't you? I see what you were trying to do, but testing a technique you've only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have your gun jam on you. Besides, I don't think you're cut out for an automatic in the first place. You tend to twist your elbow to absorb the recoil. That's more of a revolver technique.
You filthy American.
Oh, that's how he gets his name, Revolver Ocelot.
Dog!
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Major, do you read me?
I read you. Snake, you all right?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
Part of an internal Soviet power struggle, according to Sokolov. Something between the KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters and Volgan's.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU? Snake, it sounds like this could be even hotter than Cuba.
I don't like it. Something about the whole thing stinks.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
Okay, so chase after Sokolov. And these guys aren't going to get up. And I think this is where I have, like, the opportunity to cause a time paradox if I... Yep, there it is. So you get...
You can't do that. The future will be changed. You'll create a time paradox.
So, and again, this game is like full of little things, not exactly like this, but full of little things like this, you know, where Ocelot is in the games that take place in the future that were made before this. So obviously Ocelot can't die here because he would create a time paradox. And you know, like, this is the reason why I think people really love, especially, you know, like this era of Kojima game, is they're full of like little things that you can do and little details like this that you can interact in that like imagine like the first time someone like discovers this. This game came out like before everything was immediately spoiled on the internet like day one. Little details like that make these games so clever. And it's not like something that is screamed from the mountains at you. Okay, how do I get out of here? This is one change that I begrudgingly like. It doesn't give you a floating waypoint in the world, but if you have your compass on, which you can turn your compass off and navigate the world as Kojima intended. But if you do get a little bit like turned around because some of the levels, it's a thick jungle, you can open up your compass and you get like at least some guidance on what direction to go in.
You okay? Those men were from the Ocelot unit.
Spetsnaz?
Yes. The best crew has to offer. They're coming for me. I'm finished.
Calm down. I'll get you out of here, I promise.
Oh, you know what? I think for these round of cutscenes, I want to go back to... Oh, man, I can't.
Got some of the best backup we could ask for.
I was going to say, I wanted to see that in black and white, but oh well.
That's what they were making you build.
Yes. The Shagohod. The treading
Metal Shagohod?
Launching nuclear IRBM.
It can launch nuclear missiles from that kind of terrain?
Oh, yes.
So, just to pause again, timeline-wise, this is the third game in the Metal Gear Solid series. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth game in the timeline, because Kojima refused to break continuity all the way back from the MSX days of Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. I can't remember what that one was called. And then Metal Gear Solid takes place right after Metal Gear 2. Then Metal Gear Solid 2 takes place after that. Metal Gear Solid 2 is just almost universally panned. Like everyone hated it at the time because you play like this first prologue chapter, sort of like this, as Snake, which had just in the span of one game, really, because the MSX games, like I said, they were like, little top-down Nintendo MSX games. So in like the time span of one game that was made for the PS1, Solid Snake had become like this iconic video game character, and people were like, yeah, Solid Snake on the PS2. And you play as him for the prologue chapter, and then after the prologue chapter, you play as Raiden for the entire rest of the game. And that was like not even hinted at in any of the marketing. It was such a huge like bait and switch. Metal Gear Solid 2 has, had a renaissance in the intervening years, but with Metal Gear Solid 3, Kojima kind of had to assess and go, okay, how, he's an artist, sure, but he still has to, make things that, Konami can sell. So here it is, Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake is returning as the protagonist. But again, with a twist, except this time the twist isn't really hidden. You learn from Metal Gear Solid 1, the PlayStation 1 game, that Snake and all of his brethren were clones of Big Boss. So now you're playing not forward in time, but backwards in time, and you're getting sort of like the origin story of Big Boss. So David Hayter is once again doing the voice of Snake. He's called Snake, just not Solid Snake. I think this game refers to him as Naked Snake. Um, and so you're playing as someone who looks like the same character as you played as in the first game and the prologue of the second Metal Gear Solid game. Same voice, but just a different character in a different time and place. And writing wise, they do a really good job of like differentiating like Solid Snake, the MSX games, especially the second one, did kind of like try and flesh out the characters a little bit more and be as cinematic as you could in a sprite top-down game that was, all text, like there was no voice acting. But they really did a good job of like, even though they look the same voice actor, having like a complete different like personality set. And that's not to say that like Solid Snake was bland in Metal Gear Solid. Like, he certainly had like a repertoire that got built up with Otacon. Like there are so many interesting, nice little details. Okay, let's finish out this scene.
And without support from friendly units.
A nuclear-equipped tank capable of operating.
Oh yeah, why originally paused to begin with? Yes. So anyway, so this game takes place backwards in time. Now they had already established at this point that the first Metal Gear hadn't been built at this point in history. So even though this game is called Metal Gear Solid 3, and I can't remember what the original subtitle of this game was off the top of my head. The remake is Delta, but Snake Eater, duh. Even though this game was called Metal Gear Solid, they couldn't have a Metal Gear. So the Shagohod is sort of like your proto version of the Metal Gear.
Hello. Is that thing finished?
No, this is only the end of Phase 1. It won't be truly finished until we complete Phase 2.
Phase 2.
Its true form. If it is completed and the Colonel gets his hands on it, it will mean the end of the Cold War.
The end of the Cold War?
Yes. And then the Age of Fear will truly begin.
A world war.
I had no choice but to cooperate. I didn't want to die. I wanted to see my wife and child again in America. Please, take me to America, quickly.
I want to be in America.
Without my help.
Got it. Let's go.
So we've been playing for like over an hour, and I think we've had maybe all of about 10-15 minutes of actual gameplay. This game isn't as cutscene heavy as Metal Gear Solid 4, obviously, but there's a lot of story told through cutscenes. After the prologue, and once you get into the first act, there's quite a bit of uninterrupted gameplay, but a lot of cutscenes, and a lot of great cutscenes, which is why we're watching them. The boss.
Boss?
Good work, Jack.
What are you doing here?
Sokolov comes with me. My friends, let us fight together again.
I have waited long for this day.
We will fight with you once more.
Welcome back, boss.
Now that all 5 of us are together, it's time we go to the depths of hell itself. It's raining blood. Is he crying?
Snake is like, what the fuck? Kuwabara, Kuwabara.
Kuwabara, Kuwabara. Ah, what a joyful scene.
Colonel Vogan.
Welcome to my country. And to my unit.
Boss, what is this?
I'm defecting to the Soviet Union. Sokolov is a little gift from my new hosts.
Recoilless nuclear warheads. These will make a fine gift for me.
This can't be happening.
Who is he? Another one of your disciples? Are we taking him with us?
No, this one is still just a child. Too pure for us Cobras. He has not yet found an emotion to carry into battle.
What are you talking about?
Think you can pull the trigger?
He's seen my face. We can't let him live. If Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished. He must die.
Wait. He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him. Jack, you can't come with us.
Like, forget this being a better story than, like, modern video games. This is, like, a better told, a better shot, a better choreographed scene and story than, like, the majority of modern day movies.
Can you fly, Bobby?
The new blood has been rejected. Are we done here?
Now, on to Sokolov's research facility.
Shagohod is ours.
Drift away. My place is with them now.
Snake, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just barely.
Snake, listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment. Can you move? You've got to get those wounds treated. Hang in there. All right, let's get you fixed up. Paramedic?
Okay, Snake. Just relax and it'll all be over before you know it. Stay with me. I've seen people in worse shape before. Think you can handle it?
Major. The boss. She's defected.
We'll talk about that later. First, we've got to get you patched up.
Okay, here we go. First, open the Survival Viewer with the Survival Viewer button. If you select Cure, you can start the treatment. Healing is divided into two types of treatment: medicine and surgical procedures. Your injuries include a fractured left elbow and rib bone, and lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen. They need to be fixed using surgical treatment. Move the healing cursor with a movement stick to the affected part of your body, and press the enter button. Once you've selected the affected area, use the movement stick to select the medical item, and then press the enter button. With this method, you can use items to help your recovery process. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it. For lacerations, you'll need disinfectant to clean the wound, sutures to stitch it up, styptic to slow the flow of blood, and bandages to wrap the wound. If you do everything I mentioned, the wound should heal completely. Understood?
Yeah.
Stay with me. Go into the Survival Viewer and treat those wounds.
And yes, this is a system that you will have to contend with throughout the entire game. And it is like fairly simple. You just kind of follow whatever the logical oops. Oh, disinfected. Path would be, but every time you get an injury, you have to go in and do this. Except when you don't, you will discover that the way that your health bar embiggens over time is by letting your injuries, because they will heal over time if you don't do this, will make Snake stronger, and his health bar will get larger over time. Again, one of those things that is not tutorialized. You just kind of have to find out on your own, or have the internet run it for you. Let's see if it'll let me use my... I know... Oh, that's right. Leeches you can burn off with a cigar. And so not only do they like recreate all of the camera angles one-to-one, they use all of the same mocapping as well from the original Metal Gear Solid 3 as it released on the freaking PS2. And for the rest of the game, you play a wounded hero.
We're coming to get you now. Just stay where you are. We'll drop a recovery balloon. Can you set it up?
Oh, I think this is where it comes in. Oh, no. I think after the title song is when we're going to end the stream for tonight. And I think we'll make this a normal Monday thing. Metal Gear Mondays has a nice ring to it. Like, I really want to say, like, the only improvement to the gameplay that they made, so original release, yes, you did have those, like, weird fixed camera angles from Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. Less than a year after Metal Gear Solid 3's release, they released something called the Subsistence Edition that gave you the free camera movement. So... even the like camera movement wasn't updated. Literally, I think the only major thing that they changed is now you aim your weapon and fire your weapon with the trigger buttons, where before it was a face button press. But like that just goes to show like how ahead of its time this game was. That literally it is just a coat of paint and virtually nothing else was changed, and it plays like better than 90% of modern video games today.
Shagohod.
Oh, and the ability to crouch walk wasn't added until the Nintendo DS port of this game. Although, fun story, if you look at like how it affects like your visibility and line of sight, because the game wasn't designed originally with crouch walking in mind, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference in the enemy AI's ability to spot you. The only two states that really matter are, you know, if you're standing up, and prone, which is when you're laying completely on the ground.
Excellent. A great success. Thanks to the boss and her cobras, I have both Sokolov and the Shagohod.
What are we going to do with the girl?
Who is she?
Apparently she's Sokolov's woman.
I wonder if this woman, this strange mystery woman, is going to become important later.
She's a nice catch. I'll take her. Not so fast, my dear.
So I am going to let the song play out because I think it's one of the greatest opening songs of like any video game. It really feels like straight up like like a James Bond song, even though I probably will have to cut the song out of the like non-live version of this live stream because I'm pretty sure that it's one of those things that gets like a copyright hit or makes a video restricted or something like that. Although because that is the other thing that changed. So, and it depends on how you start the game. If you start the game in legacy mode, which gives you the pre-subsistence camera, which plays remarkably well. It doesn't feel half as dated as what you think it would. But if you play the legacy mode, then you get the original version of Snake Eater. If you start out playing the new controller version of the game, which is what we did, you do get same song, just a new recording and a new version of the song. And I think it's the same singer, if I'm not mistaken.
A kiss of death.
UKGB.
We may be able to use her. She has spunk.
Snake's gonna give her the spunk.
Shall we take her back to the base?
Perhaps we should. We have no further use for Sokolov's research facility. I think it's time I gave this marvelous new toy a try.
Colonel, even if they are our enemies, they're still our countrymen.
But it won't be me that pulled the trigger. It'll be our friend, the American defector.
You're going to nuke your fellow Russians?
Remember the Alamo.
Colonel!
And again, one of the reasons why I say that this game feels more relevant now than when it was first released in 2000. Let's see, Metal Gear Solid 2 was released just after September 11th. So like, I think this game was released like 2003, 2004. But like by that point, the nuclear threat, you know, massively started to unwind. You know, it started under Reagan when both the Soviet Union and the United States made a commitment to reduce their nuclear stockpile. Of course, the Soviet Union collapsed in the at the end of the 80s, early 90s. But, you know, we weren't living under the same threat of nuclear war as what they were, you know, during the like height of the Cold War era. And then at the time that this remake was released was when, you know, there was a really big question of if Russia was going to use a nuke in Ukraine. You know, there's been a lot of, you know, there's been talk for like decades if Iran is going to get a nuclear weapon, but the thought that a nuclear weapon could be used in war is something that you know, is much more current on our minds. It's kind of, you know, died back down a little bit from the height of what it was, you know, just a couple of years ago, but you know, it feels like it's much more in our conscience than I think what it was in the early 2000s when Metal Gear Solid 3 was originally released. And here it is, an alternate history where a nuclear weapon was used. And here it is, the greatest song in video game history. Ba 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 ba. But seriously, that song goes way harder than any video game song has any right to, especially for like a PS2 era video game.
Currently flying over the Arctic Ocean, altitude 30,000 feet, approaching Soviet airspace.
The whole score of this game by Henry Gregson Williams is like one of the best in the industry as well.
Nominal. Power supply to payload antifreeze system shows no problems. No gusts. All systems go for drone detachment.
Snake, we can't risk a halo jump this time around. Airspace security has gotten tighter since we were last here. We can't
Probably
get as close
because
to
of the
ground as we
nuclear
did during the
bomb.
Virtuous mission. So instead, we'll be using one of our newest weapons. Snake, you're being given an honor on par with Alan Shepard. This is our last chance. Show your patriotism. If you fail, you'll be back in a hospital bed again, waiting for the firing squad. So how does it feel to be a patient in one of the most advanced ICUs in the world?
Would you do me a favor and tell the suits about visiting hours? I'll never get better with them assaulting me day and night with their questions.
Must be part of the top brass's inquiry.
More like an interrogation. According to them, I'm a traitor and an accomplice to the boss's defection.
They're just looking for a scapegoat.
Does that mean they're after you too?
Let's just say neither one of us is going to be made a national hero out of this.
Does this mean Fox is going to die?
No. This Fox is still one step ahead of the Hounds. The reason I came to see you today, Jack, it's time for Fox to clear its name.
What are you talking about?
The situation has changed. We've still got a chance to come out of this one alive.
Yeah, what kind of chance?
Don't get too excited. Here, have a cigar. It's Cuban. This morning, I had a meeting with the CIA.
They decided when they're going to execute us?
No. Something even bigger. Yesterday, the White House received an unexpected call.
President Johnson?
Yes, I hear you, Mr. Chairman.
It was a hotline call from Khrushchev to President Johnson.
From the head of the Soviet Union?
That's right.
A few days ago, one of our country's main design bureaus, OKB 754, was destroyed in a nuclear explosion. At about the same time, our anti-aircraft radar picked up a signature that appeared to come from one of your military aircraft. Does any of this sound familiar to you? In retaliation, I have placed our armed forces on secondary alert. Depending on your response, I may be left with no choice but to order the military to maximum alert and unleash Armageddon. With the help of your predecessor, I was able to...
So this is a really interesting plot point that I think a lot of people kind of like hand wave away, or that I don't think it's discussed enough. And I think it's really cleverly done, in that it is not just sort of like casually lampshaded away, but like think of what a big deal this is. So the prevailing notion is that, you know, MAD, it was sort of like the presumptive doctrine that if the United States, or if it was thought that the United States used a nuclear weapon against the Soviet Union, that there would be like swift and immediate nuclear retaliation from the Soviets, and vice versa if the Soviets used a nuclear weapon on the United States, that, you know, there would be swift nuclear retaliation. It would be, you know, Armageddon, the end of the world, MAD, mutually assured destruction. And this game, you know, posits that that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, and that wouldn't necessarily be the case. You know, like I've you know, heard from some like former military commentators who've done, you know, like podcasts. So of course take that you know, as you will. That everyone is kind of aware of, you know, what a active exchange of your nation's, you know, like top nuclear weapons would mean. It would mean the end of the world. So this game takes this idea that, you know, if there was a nuclear attack on either side, however big or however small, that it would mean like immediate and instant, you know, complete all-out nuclear warfare, isn't necessarily the case, and for good cause. And this is showing a scenario of what it would look like if, you know, worst case scenario happens. The United States is sort of framed for committing a nuclear attack against the Soviet Union. And then it goes into immediately showing the diplomatic channels and how, you know, that type of diplomacy might play out, or might have played out, in the 1960s.
Survive the Cuban incident. But my power is not as great as it once was. If I am to survive this crisis, I must have your full cooperation.
I should have contacted you myself. Did you know that one of our soldiers defected to your country a week ago?
No.
So you haven't heard then. The man who arranged the defection was a GRU colonel by the name of Yevgeny Borosovich Volgin.
Volgin? Of the Brezhnev faction. Go on. Who is the soldier?
Her name is the Boss. She's a living legend. During World War II, she was the one who led us to victory in that war. In Russia, you know her as Voyevoda.
You mean the Boss? The mother of your special forces?
Yes, that's the one. And she took 2 miniature nuclear shells along with her.
The Boss took 2 miniature nuclear shells?
I'm afraid so. I believe they were a gift for her new hosts. The Davy Crockett Atomic Battle Group delivery system was completed 2 years ago. But serious problems were found with the launcher's range and precision. Although they were mass-produced, they've never been deployed in battle.
But Sokolov's research facility was completely wiped out. The whole area is polluted.
I can only offer you my deepest condolences over this terrible tragedy.
So, The boss, with Colonel Volgin's help, stole 2 experimental nuclear shells and took them with her as gift when she defected. Then, shortly thereafter, Sokolov's design lab, a top-secret military research facility, was destroyed by one of these weapons. Am I right so far?
Yes, that's correct.
And the American government denies any involvement in the affair. Is that right as well?
That's correct. We were not involved in any way.
Then what was a U.S. military aircraft doing on our radar screen? It was clearly in violation of our airspace. And yet you say it was not acting under your orders.
That's correct.
You expect me to believe that this was all the work of a single soldier?
I don't know what else to tell you.
The Army insists that this is all a ploy on your part.
I've said it once, and I'll say it again.
It does sound like the biggest crock of shit. But it is what happened in this game. And I could see it, you know, having played out this, I mean, obviously, without the, you know, mythical, you know, electric hands guy. But, you know, there was so much paranoia, especially in the Soviet Union, and so much, like, dissent and unsettlement within the ranks, that, like, Khrushchev could have believed that it could have come from, you know, a scenario like this, where it was from a hardline faction within the Soviet Union and a lone U.S. defector teaming up to attempt, you know, or force like an eventual coup.
Our government had nothing to do with it.
And I would like dearly to believe you. However, I'm afraid my power over the military has weakened since the Cuban incident. I will need some kind of proof that this was not
and
the
that's
action
true,
of
it
the
did.
American government. You have 1 week. You must catch the boss yourselves and recover the remaining nuclear device. Then, you must find some way to prove your innocence.
Prove our innocence?
Yes, preferably something painful. Prove to me that this is not merely another one of your tricks.
The boss should be close to Colonel Volgin. How about a little co-action?
I would not expect too much if I were you. The political situation here is unstable. And Colonel Volgin is a member of the Brezhnev faction, which seeks to topple my government.
And the Brezhnev
1
faction
week.
eventually would
You
go
have
into
only
power.
1 week, and if it is not too much to ask, do something about Volgin as well.
What is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. It means nothing. Call it a modest gentleman's agreement to ensure our continued relationship.
Kill Vulcan for me.
What if we can't prove our innocence?
Then I will be unable to restrain the military. I will be ousted, and they will seek their revenge.
A nuclear attack on the United States?
I leave the disposal of this situation entirely to your discretion, Mr. President.
Disposal?
If you fail, it will mean the beginning of a new world war.
To put it simply, in order to avoid a full-scale nuclear conflict...
Like, even now, like, that line and this whole scenario just feels so heavy.
We have to prove that America was not involved in that explosion.
And eliminating the boss ourselves will prove America's innocence?
Right. The higher-ups have decided that you're the only one capable of pulling this off. You were her last apprentice. Screw this one up, and we'll both be 6 feet under. There's no choice.
Are the Russians going to be helping us?
The KGB has promised to lend us one of their communications satellites so that you and I can talk to each other.
That's it?
They've also put us in touch
You
with a
get
couple
one
of insiders.
satellite.
Insiders?
There was a defection in September 1960. Do you remember it?
You mean the 2 NSA codebreakers who went over to the Soviet Union?
Precisely. Since then, they've apparently been training with the KGB for exactly this kind of situation. Their code names are Adam and Eva. I've been told that Adam has infiltrated Vulcan's ranks. We've also arranged for him to provide you with an escape route. You'll need to rendezvous with him when you get there.
Control. Unidentified aircraft detected. Altitude 30,000 feet. It's fast. Estimated airspeed exceeding Mach 3. Bearing south. I'm about to lose it.
This is Snake. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. Glad to see you landed safely.
I got blown pretty far off target.
Snake, let's go over your mission objectives one more time. Rescue Sokolov. Find out what's happened to the Shagohod, then destroy it. And finally, eliminate the boss.
Eliminate the boss.
This mission will be codenamed Operation Snake Eater.
Because I'll be taking on the boss in our Cobra unit, right?
Don't forget about Colonel Volgin.
I'm not a hired killer.
I know, but that was the Kremlin's demand.
Demand? You mean it wasn't just a request? What's it to us if the Khrushchev regime is threatened by the Colonel and his faction?
If supporting the current regime helps us avoid a nuclear exchange, then that's what we'll do.
And what are the CIA's demands?
Our priorities are the rescue of Sokolov and the destruction of the Shagohod.
Roger that, Major Tom.
Hold on, Snake.
What now?
I'm changing my codename. It turns out Tom wasn't the most auspicious choice.
What do you mean?
Well, the truth is, when I chose my codename, I picked the wrong one.
The wrong one?
Did you ever see the movie The Great Escape? It came out last year.
Oh, must have missed that one.
Anyway, it's based on a true story about prisoners who escaped from a POW camp in Nazi Germany. The prisoners dig 3 tunnels as part of their plan, but the Nazis find 2 of the tunnels before they're finished. The prisoners succeed in escaping by using the last remaining tunnel. The names of those 3 tunnels were Dick, Harry, and Tom.
I get it. You used the name of the tunnel they escaped in as your code name because you thought it would bring you good luck.
Yes, that's exactly right. At least, that was the plan.
But
I got the name wrong. The one they escaped in was Harry. Tom was one of the unlucky tunnels. It was discovered by the Nazis before it was finished. I watched the movie again just to make sure. In fact, I even ordered the actual film from the movie company.
yeah, it doesn't sound like the greatest name to use. So what should I call you?
You know, let's just use Zero, like we've been doing all along.
All right then. Major Zero it is. We'll start over from square one.
From square 0. My frequency is 140.85. Oh, I almost forgot. Paramedic is with us again on this mission.
Is this her last chance too?
If we fail, she'll have her medical license revoked. It's more or less the same kind of fate. Her frequency is the same as during the Virtuous mission, 145.73. She'll be recording your mission data as well, just like the last time. That frequency is also the same, 140.96. And there's one more person on your support team. His name is Mr. Sigint. He's an expert on the latest in weapons and equipment technology. You'll be going up against some of the world's most advanced weaponry when you infiltrate the research facility. If you have any questions, just ask him. His frequency is 148.41.
Mr. Sigint. Got it.
Adam, your KGB contact, is waiting for you at the abandoned factory up ahead.
The same factory Sokolov was being held in last week.
Yes, meet up with Adam first. He's cleared the way for you to rescue Sokolov.
How will I know this Adam guy when I see him?
You'll know once you reach the factory. The whole area's been polluted by the fallout from that nuclear blast. No one else would dare come close. The password is, "Who are the Patriots?" and Lali Lule Lo.
Lali Lule Lo. Gotcha.
You've been equipped with a 45 for this mission. Be careful, it's noisy.
I thought standard Fox procedure was procure on-site weapons acquisition.
The circumstances are different this time. You're now on an official mission for the United States government. It would be necessary to make your presence known to a certain extent, to the Khrushchev regime at the very least. But remember, this is still a sneaking mission. Snake, if you fail this mission, it will mean an all-out nuclear war. Keep that in mind and proceed with extreme caution.
Understood. Commencing Operation Snake Eater.
So, okay, just a couple more thoughts before I leave. So first, you know, like certain thematic elements are laid out just in the way that the missions are titled. So you start the game with a Virtuous mission. You know, this is going to be a fun stealth espionage war game. You is the United States virtuously taking on the Russians. And then it sort of immediately gets more complicated than that. And now you are a snake in the bushes. And as far as, you know, like remakes go, and should you play the original, like, on one hand, yeah, like, absolutely you should play the original. It was a technological marvel for its time, for the PS2 era. The art direction, you know, is great. And like I said, outside of a couple of things, the controls are virtually the same so long as you're playing the subsistence version, or the DS version if you want to be able to crouch walk. But, you know, and there are some, like, you know, things that are a little bit, you know, nicer, like you don't, when you're prone, you don't get hung up on, you know, weird little bits of geometry like you would in the PS2 version. So there are some, you know, like other little differences there, but they're really minor. But, you know, unlike, you know, like, say, Final Fantasy VII, which is a complete reimagining of the game, or Silent Hill 2, which follows the story close enough, but you still get, like, a completely different, you know, experience. You know, the control scheme is completely different, completely new camera angles. The levels look, you know, roughly the same, but they're, you know, expanded and fleshed out. It's much more than just a coat of paint. You know, new voice acting. You know, the levels have been, you know, modified and extended. And you know, there have been some elements added. So, you know, you do get a completely different experience when you play the original Silent Hill 2 compared to the remake, where this, you know, the camera angles are the same, you know, you have that same, you know, sort of like, you know, more zoomed in, you know, on the character and the camera angles. It's the exact one-for-one same level design, same voice acting, you know, not just the same voice actors, but the, you know, same, you know, everything's been, like, carried over. So you can play the remake and get like, 90% of the original game, with some of the, annoyances sanded off, and you get, modern graphics. And like I said, I think for not just for a UE5 game, like this is a beautiful looking game, but easily I would say like the best looking game in the Unreal Engine 5 that has been made to date. I better than Silent Hill 2 Remake, better optimized than Silent Hill 2 Remake. Like I said, even though this game did launch with some issues, it seems like those issues have largely been ironed out. It's playing excellently on a MacBook, and this is not a native Mac port. But yeah, like this game virtually replaces the, like, I'm totally glad I played the original. I don't ever see myself going back to the original in subsequent playthroughs. And like I said, this game does have a lot of replayability, not because the story changes or anything like that, or because there are like alternate paths or alternate endings, but because there are so many fun systems and so much detail in the story, and it's a short enough game. And maybe this is just me getting old, but like I just don't have the patience for like long 100-hour epics. Like I loved playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, have not touched Final Fantasy Rebirth because like, I don't want to dedicate 100 hours of my life to it. This, can be wrapped up in like a couple of weekends with reasonable play sessions. It's not something you have to like disappear into for like days and days and days and days to grind out and finish. And the pacing in this game is immaculate, especially if you're not stopping to, talk to the imaginary people. Okay, so we're going to, let's see, go into, model viewer. Oh. Okay, let's see, how do I open up the... There we go. Oh yeah, and also, so they don't just give you advice, like every time you call one of your comrades, you have like neat, fun little conversations. So we'll call save.
Paramedic.
Snake, it's so good to hear from you again.
Same here. It's been a week, hasn't it?
4 days, actually.
Huh?
I visited you in the hospital. You were still unconscious, though.
Then you must have seen me naked.
Yeah, but you were all wrapped up in bandages and tubes, so I couldn't do anything but look.
Better luck next time.
Let's hope so. But seriously, don't forget that you were like that until just yesterday. In fact, you really shouldn't even be on this mission. Keep an eye on your stamina gauge. If you start to run low, don't push yourself. Eat something to replenish your stamina. And try not to get yourself hurt. If you're wounded or get bitten by a venomous animal, go into the survival viewer immediately and treat yourself using Cure.
Yeah. I can see you still know how to nag.
You're welcome. And I can see you still don't know when to keep your mouth shut.
Maybe so. By the way, I heard you're going to lose your medical license if this mission fails.
Yes, there was talk of that, but the mission won't fail, will it?
Of course not.
Good. I believe in you. But you know what? I really don't care about my medical license.
Didn't they use that to force you to participate in this operation?
Well, in the threat of nuclear war.
Why?
So that I could watch over you.
Aww.
Snake, you're the best agent I've ever seen. But you push yourself too hard. You're reckless. Someone has to stop you from getting into trouble, to make sure you and the boss don't kill each other. So that's why I volunteered. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better guardian angel than me, right?
Thanks.
Stop right there.
Huh?
You can thank me when you get back.
All right.
I wonder how history would have been different in this game's timeline had Snake not had his rendezvous with Eva, not been so depressed from having to, you know, what with the boss, and like dated and married paramedic, and like they just run off and have like a nice, normal, happy life together. No clones, no L'Enfant Terribilisé or whatever the French name of that project was.
Okay, good luck, Snake.
Thanks.
All right, guys. So, like I said, I think that's going to be all for me tonight. Thank you, guys. I'll try and be back tomorrow night with another live stream. I think I'm going to try, instead of doing like, you know, going through like one game in a series, you know, like having different, you know, games each night. That I'm not saying that I'm going to stream every night, but you know, each night that we stream, and I think Mondays will be a good Metal Gear night. Maybe tomorrow we'll pick back up with Silent Hill Homecoming, or you know, try and get through some more of some of the Silent Hill series, or maybe we'll do something completely different. Who knows? It'll be a mystery. I you know, don't think that I am the right streamer or dude to do like, you know, modern new releases. Maybe if something like absolutely huge comes out, I'll pick that up and do a stream. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Mutant Fox signing out. Or sorry, Big Mac Game signing out.